Howdy, folks. Here we are again. Back in Dire Mall East. Doing some farmage. Trying to make some money. Luckily, we've never been more powerful. There's the first Damon. I'm gonna do this whole run, this first one, without popping my world buffs. Just to see how it feels. Feels pretty good. We just crushed that boss. Alright, there's another demon. Get him out of here. I'll take that. Never hurts to have some runes. Here comes the fun part. We get to just take this guy head on. Oh, pop my Lothebs. There we go. Reflected his sacrifice. He's killing himself. And he's dead. I'm so happy that I looted this trinket. I should be able to get some nice spell reflects off on the last boss too. Crusader strike the squirrel for some mana. Got a nice opening here to get through. Now we wait. Bust it down. Thank you. little bit early. Oh well. Doesn't really matter. What we do now is let him come over to the door and then kick his ass. Reflected his mana drain. Pop wings and let him have it. Gonna lay myself. Don't think I actually needed to, but it was kind of close there. Alright, it's crystal time. Or maybe huge emerald time if I'm really lucky. That's what we need. One more node. Come on. Oh, that was a bad one. Let's get back in there. Okay. Let's let the world buffs loose and see how long this takes. We started at 12:29. Should be another stealthy coming up here. Collected the sacrifice. Kill yourself, bitch. Thank you. We've got a good first crossing. I have mana. The squirrel can live this time. That's about as good as it gets right there. Take him straight to the cave this time. He didn't even cast anything on me. So from 1229 to 1236. We're cruising. That is a fast run. Alright, we need some gems. Arcane Crystal. We'll take it. Just one, though. think the limiting factor now is basically just my movement speed. Hey, Ichigo. Glad to hear it, man. I will definitely keep it up. Alright, I think this time, because we're going to hit lockouts, I'm going to go and kill some extra bosses. Or at least one extra boss. Got an essence of water there. Didn't cast Sacrifice this time. He must have learned his lesson. Oh, actually, we're gonna go this way. Aggro those guys. If you ever do that, always kill the trickster first, because they will stun you. And that can get quite annoying. I need to turn off that scrolling combat text. I don't want to see it. Don't need healing. Here it is. Strategy for this guy is just go in and let her rip on the imp. Might be time to disenchant some things soon. Cutting it close here. We made it. Okay, we're gonna get aggro from the crusher here, which is fine. Just means we have to sit on top of the pillar for a few seconds till he resets. Get on out of here. Go on now. There he goes. Perfect, you went tree form. Oh, 2 arcane crystals there. Azerothian diamond. Not great. Got 1 more node. Nothing crazy on that one. On to run number 4. Okay, let's get some disenchants done. This is useless. Oh, we got 2 Essence of Water so far. That's not too bad. Librum of Rapidity. Worth nothing. Okay. Hey, Dorian. Yeah, I'm basically just using Hallowed Ground to sustain myself. Occasionally I'll shock myself if I feel like I really need it, but that's really about it. Think I can go here. Yeah, looking good. So it seems like the timing works out that if I go and kill the extra boss, this guy is always patrolling here. Not that big a deal. You really want to make sure that this guy drops aggro before you jump down. Because if you don't, he'll come all the way down here and aggro everything else in the room. And it's not exactly game over, but it can be a real pain to deal with. Should be turning into a dog any second. There it goes. Trying to avoid him slowing me. There we go. He's a tree now. Perfect. Right. It could be crystal time. Nothing. Alright, come on. Let me get some crystals. I know they're in there. Oh, 2 taps? Bruh. Okay, we're on to run number 5. Okay. Not amazing luck on the disenchants either. Only 2 greater eternals so far. Sometimes that's just the way she goes. Just gotta hope this run will make up for it. Should be... Okay, I definitely reset it. Should have been a stealth guy there. He probably patrolled somewhere else since I took so long disenchanting. Time to die, Pim Gib. What's the gear? I am using the Glacial Headdress. I have 3 pieces of the ZG set. Grand Crusader Shoulders with the Exile enchant. Quiraji Silk Cloak. I have 4-piece Judgment for the Consecrate bonus to increase my Hallowed Ground. Blaze Fury Retributor is the weapon. Shield of Condemnation from Nax. More Judgment, more ZG. I have the Zanzil's Rings. I'm using Lotheb's Reflection, and you'll see why on this boss if he tries to sacrifice me. And then the ZG Grelex Charm of Valor. Oh, reflected it. There we go. He has sacrificed himself. That's why we wear Lothebs. You can also reflect the mana drain or the dot on the final boss, which is kind of nice. Although he doesn't live long enough for the mana drain to matter. That extra damage is from Sunlight. So the Shock and Awe rune has been changed so that every time you do damage with your Holy Shock, you get a 10-second buff that causes your auto attack to do 100% of your spell power as holy damage. It's basically kind of how Blizzard shoehorned Shockadin into being viable. We don't have any set bonuses really to stack outside of the ZG set, so we have to rely purely on stats and just stacking spell power to increase sunlight damage. Okay, he should turn into a dog any second. There it goes. Okay. It's our last shot at some crystals until we have to wait on the lockout timer, which really just means going back to town and putting stuff on the auction house. Oh, one arcane crystal. What talents? I am 34 holy actually right now. Oh, nice. We got 3 nodes for the final round here. It doesn't really matter where you put your points as long as you have Holy Shock. And then the rest of my points are in Protection down to Improved Concentration Aura. You can do this just fine with Ret sub-spec as well, though. Oh, inventory is full. Let's get rid of some mushrooms. Alright. Finish the disenchanting and see what we ended up with. So we got 71 thorium ore, 2 essence of water, 67 rune cloth, or 62 rune cloth, 3 fell cloth, 84 dense stone, 16 elemental fire, 11 elemental earths, 16 large brilliant shards, 4 arcane crystals, not terrible, but not great either. Some globes of water, and an Azerothian crystal. Not the worst run I've had, but not the best. Send the rune cloth away to be made into bandages.
Need help? Farewell.
How are arcane crystals doing? 23 gold a pop. Could be worse. Oh wow, Greater Eternals are up there. I forgot to disenchant this wave slicer. Hmm. Let's see if elemental fire is even worth putting up. Nope, just gonna vendor that shit. Oh, elemental earth. Not too bad. I can deal with that. Wow, Bellcloth is doing really well. I should just farm more of those satyrs while I'm in there. Stacks of thorium ore. Should I make it into bars? It seems like there's a decent profit margin there. Okay, we're gonna hang on to the ore and smelt all of that later. Might even be worth it to just buy a bunch of ore. But that would be very boring. Oh, almost forgot to check the Azerothian garbage. 1 gold. We'll hang on to that for when it randomly gets put into the materials for something. No, you didn't miss too much. I'm gonna go back for another round at Dire Maul as soon as I get all this stuff out of my inventory keys. Okay, we'll send all this away for now. Oh, I forgot to check the elemental water. Those are occasionally decently expensive. Oh wow, down to 85 silver apiece. How the mighty have fallen. Your guildies are mean to you because you're playing Shockadin and Nomoran gear, huh?
Be careful.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, it probably doesn't matter what spec you're playing if you're in Nomoran gear. Alright, let's get a summon. To Tanaris. Yeah, Keys is right. The Scarlet gear is great, like baseline Shockadin stuff. And if you're super duper broke, get the Elements gear, the 3 pieces of it, and then maybe you can get a 4th piece out of a dungeon.
See you soon.
If you can get that much Shockadin gear, then you can start farming some gold in Dire Maul East like I'm doing. At least if you have mining, you can. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab some water. Well, that's good. If you're 8 Sanctified and you've got your seal ranked up, at least you won't flop to mechanics that, you should be able to live through. It'll be a more enjoyable experience for you, that's for sure. I wouldn't stress too much about the ZG rep grind. I mean, eventually you do want to be exalted, but you can get by just fine with the 3 set and using Exile, Shoulder, Enchant. And once you get to that point, you're actually strong enough to just walk into ZG and farm the trash by yourself if you really want to get rep. The auctions are starting to sell. How much gold an hour do I make in Dire Maul? It varies quite a bit. It can be anywhere from 2 to 300 up to like 5 to 600 if I'm really lucky. What enchant for Truth Bearer? 22 int is basically your go-to, like he's just said. Truth Bearer does have some kind of unique qualities with enchants, though. Like you can put the 65 spell power enchant on it. That is something more to consider, you know, if you're going to go the Dominus route at any point, because then your actual healing values do become a little more important. Yeah, the spell blasting enchant, I believe it's 65 spell power. And then you can also go with the Grand Arcanist enchant, which has kind of a nice benefit of it procs the two-handed version of itself when you have two-handed Truth Bearer on, and it procs the one-handed version when you have the one-hander on. Yeah, Dire Maul's super chill. It's always been my go-to farm. And now that I have the Lotheb's Reflection, it's just hilarious for me. I think the best series I've had in here is like, I don't know, 11 crystals in 5 runs. I think you're referring to the altruist bonus, if I remember correctly, Reckles. That's from the tier 2.5, and the reason that we don't run it for the Shockadin build is because it doesn't actually function with Dominus heals, unfortunately. You basically are forced to like hard cast heals into the beacon if you want to proc that bonus, so it doesn't work very well mechanically with the Dominus setup. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I spent many hours testing all the different shoulders to see what the interactions were, and Altruist was a no-go, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, your healing outside of your beacon target is really just your healing over time through your hollowed ground. That's where most of it's going to come from. You can work in Exemplar if you run the 6-piece. You can do Exemplar Shoulder with 6-piece tier 2, and you can get a little bit more group healing that way. But it's kind of hard to reliably proc that circle of healing, because you need your target to be basically taking chip damage, where you're instantly topping them back off every time. It does allow you to get some healing without, or some group healing without being in, you know, like the tank group. So it could be nice if you're not able to get your hollowed ground on a melee group to run Exemplar to try to boost up the group healing a little bit. The main issue I run into is priest shields just sucking up all the healing. And they prevent a lot of the chip damage that you would normally get to instantly heal through, like, your consecrate ticks on your beacon. And that's why it's really just a tool to keep in your back pocket. It's not like a build you would want to run all the time. We're still locked for a little bit. Probably 1 or 2 more minutes. Yeah, that's pretty much it, Reckles. And it does maintain more of its damage by when using the Dominus setup than, say, like the Ret build does. I'm just going to give it a solid 5 minutes so that I don't get stuck outside after the next quick run. Yep, it can be hit and miss, but you know that's why the nice thing is that as a Shockadin, you're really not sacrificing that much DPS by giving up Crusader Strike or your shoulders bonus. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even use Beacon when I heal dungeons anymore. I just keep Crusader Strike on, and Hallowed Ground pretty much puts in the work. And I'll throw the occasional shock out here and there where I need to. Do I reckon Fanaticism would work better for those cases with the heal over time? Um, no, and the reason for that is that, one, your Dominus heals actually don't crit, so they don't benefit from Fanaticism. You actually get more benefit from just having more crit on your offensive spells to get those bigger, chunky crit, uh, damage that gets translated into a heal. The other thing is you just have so much crit in raid that fanaticism applying to basically all it applies to is the heal on your hallowed ground. So it's increasing that and nothing else. And you already have so much crit from world buffs that it's kind of irrelevant. When you're not buffed, however, I would take fanaticism pretty much every time. If you care about hallowed ground. But yeah, Wrath is also letting your cons crit, so that's more healing through the beacon. Alright, let's give this a try. We're back in business. There's homeboy. Right where he should be. I probably should actually throw on fanaticism for this, just for my hallowed ground. But honestly, I'm killing everything so fast, it's not really mattering. If you missed the last series of runs I did, killing that boss up there is actually not part of the normal run, but I'm going so fast, there's no reason not to just walk up there and kill her to get the large brilliant shard from her drop. Alright, go ahead, bro. Sacrifice me. I dare ya. Oh, here it comes. Oh, you sacrificed yourself. That must hurt. How close am I to Ashbringer? The paladin that I'm getting it on has 11 out of 12 ingots right now. Yeah, that was the Lotheb's reflection keys. This is gonna be tight. Okay. Yeah, I think at this point, it's probably, like, most of the time I'm actually just killing him before the sacrifice even goes off now. But you could definitely just bubble it and finish him off with how much damage you pump out with sunlight. Right on, Calhoun. Early grats to you, buddy. You know what I was thinking today? I watched Hello Jtello's video about how expensive raiding is right now. And one thing, you know, the numbers he came up with for the amount of gold that a raid team is spending are pretty huge. But one thing he didn't even mention is the fact that if you're making an Ashbringer, it's another like 10,000 gold a week in materials right now for your guild, or just whatever player happens to be unfortunate enough to not have a guild that's going to help them do it. It's definitely the most expensive phase in SOD history. I don't know if that's really saying much. Reflected as dot. Okay, turn into a dog for me. Thank you. Run number 1 down. Time to test our luck. Rolling the dice. No crystals that time. Farming New Avalon, huh? I have been considering going out there lately, but Darmal East is just, it's right up my alley. It's kind of a vibe for me. Brings me back to original classic era. And the gold is good enough. Crystals are only like 23 gold a pop right now. The real money is getting like a huge emerald out of one of these nodes. Those are going for like 100 to 150. And then the thorium bars are selling pretty well right now too. They're like 10 gold plus a stack. Pelcloth is like 7 to 10 gold. And then Greater Eternals are up to 10 gold right now. So it's a lot of little things that are adding up that I'm getting from here. Oh, I forgot to reset. And then the large brilliants, those are, you know, about 4 gold each, and I average 15 to like 18 of them on a series. And if you watch the beginning of the stream, this is something that isn't in the gold per hour of most gold farms that you see. I made it all the way back to town and put all my shit on the auction house and mailed my stuff away, and still was on a lockout when I got back to the dungeon. Yes, I did adjust pally power. Oh, how did I do that? You just open the menu and you make it horizontal instead of vertical. And then this little red dot right here, if you click it and turn it green, you can drag it around. Then you click it again to lock it in place. Yeah, there should just be a setting in the menu to change it from vertical to horizontal. I prefer it that way. It makes it into like a little mini drop-down menu instead of like expanding across your screen with a bunch of people's names. Yep, this is the ZG Blaze Fury weapon. Since almost all of the Shockadin builds use the ZG necklace, the weapon is basically your best way to get the Blaze Fury effect to help reset Exorcism, which isn't super relevant anymore now that Sunlight is the majority of our damage, but it's still a nice little quality of life feature. I would say it's both really good and also just what I have right now. It's probably like, I don't know, maybe a fourth or a fifth bis. It's definitely one of the best starter weapons you can acquire for Shockadin. I normally use Seal of the Crusader, now that the sunlight buff is in. When I play the Dominus healer build, I do use Seal of the Righteous, though, because it increases the exorcism proc frequency, which means you have the ability to cast it more, and you have more consistent healing through your beacon. Take care, Keys. Yeah, basically attack speed is king for Shockadin now. Sure. Talents are... how many? 17 in Prot. Your sub-spec doesn't really matter a whole lot for this kind of farming thing. And then the rest in Holy, with just all the stuff that I want, and of course Holy Shock. Yeah, I bet Hunger and Cold is fun, man. I wish I had one. I haven't seen it drop yet. At least not since Shockadin has been relevant. Alright, let's see if we get another sacrifice. Do it. Oh, here it comes. Are you gonna do it? Okay, he's just gonna die. Oh well. Yes, Dominus is Tier 2 Draconic, the 6th set bonus. I typically just run it as a shoulder enchant, and then I run the ZG set to maximize my shocks and exos. And that's when things like the Blaze Fury or running Seal of Righteousness actually are more relevant. Ooh. Clear the way for me, big guy. Thank you. Collected his mana burn that time. Oh, he's getting low already. Did he get to the door? Alright, number 2. Round number 2. No dice. The talents I have now are actually just my PvE build that I run for healing on this tune. He doesn't even play. Oh, a huge emerald! Oh, yes! That's what we're here for. The big money. Those Ashbringer materials. Yeah, I am very thankful that I kept all mine. I have 8 of them right now. So that one is going to be a keeper. Here comes the first bozo. Mana from that frog. Thanks, buddy. Oh, almost forgot to go kill the imp lady. Yeah, I'll show my gear in just a second. Let me kill these demons real quick. Exercise the demons. Then I'll show what I got going on. Nothing crazy. This is my 3rd Shockadin. But he's actually pretty good. Oh, damn it. Get on out of here. Go on now. So I'm rocking the Glacial Headdress. 3-piece CG set. Got my Grand Crusader shoulders. Cloak of Consumption, 4-piece Judgment. There's another Judgment. Blaze Fury Retributor, Shield of Condemnation, Libram of Plenty. More Judgment stuff, more ZG stuff. Grand Crusader Legs, more Judgment. Zanzils. And then the Lotheb's Reflection, so I can reflect the sacrifice on the Satyr boss. And I'm going to do it to this little Imp's Fireball right here, too. Because I can. Hit him for like 1200 damage. Oh, that guy usually doesn't drop anything. Him gives Collar. Increases the damage of your Imp's Firebolt by 8. That doesn't seem very good. Do you think 6-piece tier 3 would be better in Nax versus 6-piece tier 3.5? Honestly, I'm not sure. That would be a question for the sim, and it probably also depends on like what build you're playing, 1-hand versus 2-hand, Ret versus Shockadin, etc. And then are you twisting? Are you playing Exo build? Hey, Law Fury, yeah, I did. I posted the video earlier. Thanks for helping me test all that stuff, man. Shout out to Law Fury for letting a bunch of mobs beat on him so I could verify all my data that I needed for my video today for the Shockadin Dominus build. As a fresh 60, would I recommend buying Truthbearer? Yeah. If you got the reals, or you have some people that are down to farm some reals with you, that should be one of the first items that you go for, and you should play 1-hand. Two-hand is way more dependent on set bonuses, so you'll have a much harder time gearing up at first if you want to play 2-hand, but it's not unviable. Alright, cast your sacrifice, bitch. Cast it if you dare. There it is. Oh, you sacrificed yourself again. This is a dangerous one. Whew. About a nut hair away from aggroing both packs there. Libram of Plenty. Mostly because I'm cheap and I don't want to buy any other Librams for my mining ult. But also because I think the 10% damage from the Sank Libram would just be overkill. Makes the runs go faster to just never have to drink. So in a raid setting, it's typically not an issue for mana as far as like the Dominus stuff goes. As long as Judgment of Wisdom is up on the boss, you're pretty much going to have no issues. And even if it's not, if there is a ret in your raid, your mana is just going to be okay. You will have no issues, I promise. Now, if you're in a raid that for some reason doesn't have a ret paladin, then you might have problems. But even then, you still have things like Dark Runes and Mana Potions that really increase your battery life when it comes to that. This guy's casting like crazy this time. Get out of here, doggy. Reflecting the Wither. Easy clap. Round number 3 of nodes. Nothing so far. Inventory's full. Okay. Let's get rid of the mushrooms again and do a little disenchanting. Filling up my bags with all this loot. Yeah, if no one else is judging wisdom, then I just put it up. Judgment of the Crusader is really not a huge deal. Sunlight doesn't benefit from it right now. We just found out that it's an effect of a recent hotfix that was done with the Sealbearer rune. So we'll see if that gets fixed or not. But for the time being, Judgment of the Crusader is not that big of a deal for us. It's only giving us a minor amount of spell power on Exorcism, Holy Shock, and Consecrate. We got 3 Greater Eternals, 4 Greater Eternals so far. That's 40 gold right there. Not too shabby so far. Let's see if the second node has anything for us. Oh, an Arcane Crystal? Alright. I'll take what I can get. On to run number 4. Do I ever do dungeons using the Dominus healing enchant? The only one that I ever really use it in is Karazhan. Everything else is so easy. I mean, like, here's the way I look at it. Why would I need to use the Dominus enchant when I can solo the dungeon myself with Hollowed Ground? So generally, anyone that's coming in one of my 5-man groups, they're riding on my back as a carry if I'm playing Shockadin. And I'm just Crusader striking for mana, and my Hollowed Ground is keeping everybody up. You certainly can do it if you want to, though. Ooh, Pimkip killed himself with a fireball. Poor little imp. Yeah, that's where I made a majority of my gold, too, was just blasting Scarlets for Righteous Orbs. But now it's all gone, and I'm farming it all back again, thanks to Scarlet Enclave. Bringing you guys this content. To be perfectly honest, though, I think I still might be here farming Dire Maul East, even if Scarlet Enclave wasn't expensive, because I just kind of enjoy it. Alright, Stealth Bozo coming up. Oh, you sacrificed yourself early this time. Oh, he's still doing casts on me while he's in it? That is illegal. Right on, Keys. Glad you're back. Dude, you missed it. I got a huge emerald. Here it is. As much as I would love to get some AB in, I've got to get to sleep after I finish this series. Got people coming to the house early in the morning to look at some water damage in the floor. You know, adult stuff. Yeah, I mean, I might make it look easy, but I've run through this dungeon probably over 1,000 times at this point. So it's like second nature to me where every single mob in the entire dungeon is going to be moving at all times. Realistically, if you're just trying this out, just take it slow, you know? Treat the tree patrols like stoplights. And don't try to go on yellow. Believe it or not, even I occasionally just go brain dead and get killed in there, even though I know where the reset spots are. To the cave we go. Collect the spell. And he's dead. Come on. Huge emerald. There used to be a lot more nuance to doing these runs too. Like, yeah, I used to have to reset the mobs at the end, etc. But now with, you know, how easy it is to get world buffs and just how strong the class is at a baseline level, you just come in and blast. Most of the time, even if I aggro just one of those tree packs, I just stop and kill it. Nothing good out of those nodes. Unfortunate. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to do Konsu on this guy. I know I could, but he's just my mining alt after all. If you haven't tried it yet, my best advice is get a few tries in, learn the fight, and when you start to get frustrated, stop and then go sleep on it. There's science to back this up, but that, I mean, that's literally, that's when your brain actually processes and learns things. So you'll have a much easier time just going at it the second day. Yeah, I mean, Konsu's got those quick hands, man. He'll mix it up on you and take you out if you're not on the ball at all times for 17 pulls. I had a couple of high number wipes at like 13 plus that were devastating. start disenchanting again. My bags are filling up. Oh, 7 Greater Eternals now. All right. They complained about you guys being top DPS. They should be happy. You're contributing. That's the mid-player mindset when you see that kind of talk going around. You know what I was thinking would be cool the other day is if somebody hosted like a dungeon speed clearing solo tournament. I would compete in it, and probably nobody else would, but it just seemed like it would be a cool thing in my head. Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with Mage for PvP right now. They definitely seem like some to some degree. I think they're a little bit dependent on things like the burrow trinket if you want to be like really godly, but Ice Lance is going burr. I'll tell you that right now. That was close. You gotta keep trying for it, Law Fury. It's pretty useful. I honestly don't wear my Lothebs enough in PvP. Okay, I think this is run number 5. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure this is number 5, though. What weapon enchant? I'm using 22 intellect right now. There's not a whole lot of difference between the way the weapon enchants perform on the sim. You might as well just pick whichever one suits your flavor. That's one thing I didn't really mention about the Dominus build, is it does actually benefit a little more from things like the Grand Arcanist enchant that have that chance to restore your mana when they go off. Gotta take care of some more disenchanting to be able to pick up his loot. Munch down this truffle and this roasted quail real quick to clear my bags. Alright, let's do the last couple nodes. Come on, give me something good. Nothing out of that one. PvP, do I prefer the Crusader or Grand Sorcerer? I prefer the Grand Sorcerer for PvP. Oh, we got 3 nodes at least for the last round here. A 2-tapper. Range. Alright, here we go. Double Arcane Crystal on the last tap. Alright, well, you know, I think that was a good series there. Let's check out the haul real quick. 8 Fellcloth this time, 17 Large Brilliance, 3 Arcane Crystals, 7 Greater Eternal Essence, the huge Emerald, some Living Essence and Essence of Water, some junk, Elemental Earth, that was selling pretty well earlier. 58 thorium, so a little bit light on the thorium there. 46 dense stone, so a little bit light on the thorium and the stone, but we came through on the gems and everything else. That is going to be very nice. Last question, where do you get the Time Worn Ring? It is from the Brood of Nozdormu, so you have to reach neutral with them, and then you can just go buy the ring. It costs like one of the scarabs or something. Each rep rank has a different cost, so you probably have to just look it up or run down there and see. But as soon as you get to neutral, you can buy the epic ring. Alright guys, that is going to do it for tonight. Actually, before I go, I'll show my gear one more time. Glacial headdress, the ZG stuff, the Grand Crusader stuff, the Cloak of Consumption, the Judgment stuff. Blaze Fury, Shield of Condemnation, Libram of Plenty, Lotheb's Reflection, the Zanzil set, and you know the rest. Alright folks, OGB out.